Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold thy son." Then he said to this disciple, "Behold thy mother." We move to John's Gospel. The soldiers have led him out, Jesus himself bearing the cross. They've fixed him to the cross, raised it to expose him to the sun and to leave his own weight, to inflict his own torture on his body. Pilate orders a title to be set above the suffering, twisted body. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. For all to see and understand in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Is this some cruel joke against Jesus? Does it give voice to some niggling doubt on Pilate's part that there is more here than meets the eye? Or is it Pilate's way of sneering at the Jews, the Judeans, and their pretensions of re-establishing control over their territory? Is this what your king looks like? The high priests protest to no purpose. The soldiers, oblivious to all this, get on with making the best of their unpleasant and tiresome job, dividing up the perks, including a rather good quality tunic. Oblivious, too, doubtless, to the fact that they are making history, fulfilling prophecy, are actors in the divine drama which continues to unfold. For at the foot of the cross, alongside the soldiers and the spectators who were drawn to such cruel public executions, were to be found Jesus' mother and her friends and comforters, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene, and also a disciple whom Jesus loved. To lose a son under any circumstance is bad enough. But for a mother to watch powerless to help while the life is squeezed out of him by such a brutal purpose would be, as Simeon had foreseen, for her heart to be pierced by a sword. And there too is the beloved disciple, the one who reclined next to Jesus at the Last Supper. What pain and grief was he experiencing? What a world would have separated the mocking, sensation-seeking onlookers and Jesus' mother and her companions. Jesus, in his agony, speaks 3 times in John's Passion narrative. Here, for the first time. Where do these words come from? Out of a sense of despair, abandonment, as Matthew will highlight, out of some kind of sense of cosmic loneliness, or out of some deep reserves of compassion and concern, out of some still held on to sense of purpose, It's hard to grasp the distance between two such states. Abandonment and a divinely given sense of mission and purpose. Yet Jesus seems to inhabit both those contradictory worlds. John's take on Jesus' purpose and mission is somewhat different to those of the other three evangelists. They focus on the disciples' mission to go out and spread Jesus' message to the world, on Jesus' almost imperious call to them to become fishers of men. He picks them up, sends them out. John paints a rather different picture of Jesus' mission. Picture of people being drawn to Jesus by others, by the Baptist, by their relatives and friends, and then being invited by Jesus to come and stay with him, to dwell with him, to join his circle, to become his friends, to discover love, life, and truth in his company. They are drawn to the light that he brings into the world, drawn into a new community of light, which the darkness will not overcome. This is what Jesus has come for. And as the gospel narrative makes clear, it has not been a simple process. Jesus may have drawn followers to his circle, but they have been sorely tested. Many have left, unable to accept Jesus' claims to be with him is to be united to God, the source of life and truth. And Judas has betrayed him, and Peter, who confessed him to be the one who had the words of truth when many left, Peter has denied him. Is that not grounds for despair as you hang? What hope is left to the one tortured on the cross? When you read John's Gospel, not least the long discourses Jesus gives at the Last Supper before his crucifixion, you see an almost serene Jesus who lives out of a life grounded in his Father's will. My bread is to do the will of him who sent me. It's a life of prayer in which he's united with the Father, so that at the moment before he goes out to the garden to meet his betrayer, he can say, "Righteous Father, the world does not know you, but I know you, and those know you that you have sent me. I made your name known to them, and I will make it known, so that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, may be in me, in them, and I in them." It seems as you read those passages that somehow Jesus stands almost outside and above the struggles of his faltering community of unreliable disciples. And yet, if you attend to the narrative of events, indeed of Jesus' emotions, his weeping over the death of Lazarus, his deeply troubled state immediately before the final climax, there is a sense of deep drama which puts things in a different light. Things hang in the balance. There is a real struggle for the hearts and minds of all too fallible men and women, and a fierce testing of Jesus' own obedience and commitment to his mission. All this comes to a head in this short section as he hangs thirsty for life, for an end to the conflict, for union with the Father. For now, he hangs fully at the mercy of his foes, of the forces which reject the Father's offer of life and love. And it is now that rather than allowing the onset of hatred and pain and despair to overwhelm him, he loves his followers, his mother, her companions, his friend, to the end. In an act of kindness, of concern, he says, "Woman, behold thy son." Then to the disciple, "Behold thy mother." Words of compassion and consolation and care spoken from the darkness of the cross. The glory of God's love shining out from the heart of darkness.